Tuesday night, Marinaro, the Sick Podcast, your Habs post-game show. The Montreal Canadiens gave up the first 2 goals of the game versus the Carolina Hurricanes. We know how great a regular season they're having. We know how great their coach is. And you're saying to yourself, yeah, you know what? The Canadiens have come back before. But tonight they probably bit off a little bit more than they can chew. They're not going to do it versus the Carolina Hurricanes. Wrong. Goal. Empty netter. The Canadiens score 5 straight and beat Carolina by a score of 5-2. Earlier this morning, Marty St. Louis would not confirm who his starting goalie would be and would not confirm any changes that he would make to the lineup. Why? Because he said it's playoff time. And this is the way it works come playoff time. Even though it's not officially playoff time for the Montreal Canadiens, it's unofficially playoff time. And guess what? When all was said and done, it's Jakob Dobes that got the starting goal. And how did he do? He faced 43 shots tonight. He stopped 41. I don't know if Dobes has played a better game considering the opponent, considering the stakes. He was unbelievable. 34 starts. He's now won 23 of those 34. Oh, by the way, the big guys, the number one line, they were hot again tonight. They weren't the only ones. We're on fire too. Your number one Habs post-game show coming up. I'm Marinaro. In 3 short minutes, guess who joins me? Pierre McGuire and Brian Wilde from the Bell Center. Stay tuned.
It's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your number one sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K, 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 S-I-C-K,
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lanier, back to Lafleur. Oh!
the sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the fall.
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est le dégagement et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Coupe Stanley pour les Canadiens. Le 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs. John, you found the dogs. He found the dogs.
And all together, they worked a young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup.
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. Bittt. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
Marinaro, the Sick Podcast on this Tuesday night. I got to tell you, nothing surprises me anymore with the Montreal Canadiens, and I'm going to be totally transparent as I am all the time with you. And I've seen them come back so many times this year, and you've seen them come back. We know what the stats are. Nobody comes back more than them. Nobody makes it easier more than them in terms of coming back with ease. Like, it's just coming back is not an easy thing. And it seems like when they decide to go and put it in fifth gear, the Canadiens can actually go from 2 to 5th, even though it's not very good for the car, the transmission. When you do that, they don't even go to 3, 4. They go boom, 2, then 5th. And you know what? They don't need a ton of shots to score goals. They are very opportunistic. They have a lot of talent. They have what is called quick strike offense. And it's fitting that I think that Marty St. Louis is the coach of the Montreal Canadiens because his Tampa Bay Lightning used to have that. The Tampa Bay Lightning, as a matter of fact, still have that. They're a pretty good team. Quick strike offense. That's what the Montreal Canadiens have right now. And sometimes they don't need a lot of shots to score a lot of goals. And they go down by a score of 2-0 versus a very good team and a team that's very well coached. And you know what? They come back with relative ease, but they're going to need goaltending, and they needed it, and they got it tonight from Dobes. And boy, did they ever. I want to bring in, of course, my co-host, Pierre McGuire. Before I do, I can tell you that he's brought to you by Restaurant Vago. Open 23 years longevity. Not many restaurants open that long. Private dining rooms for any occasions, birthdays, engagements, corporate meetings. Plenty of free parking after 6. Open Monday to Saturday evenings. And lunch Tuesday to Friday. Fresh quality ingredients. Old world Italian classics and new Italian. Come see Tommaso, the most popular man in Westmount, at the front of the house. His partner, Angelo, at the back of the house. Let's bring in Pierre McGuire.
The McGuire Report. Presented by Vago Italian.
Pierre McGuire, how are you?
Excellent, Tony. How you doing?
I'm doing extremely well. You know what, Pierre? I would imagine you have a lot to say. I'm going to let you go. In the meantime, I could take probably about a minute to send over all the clips and everything to Master Control, so we're about ready to do this. But go ahead, Pierre. Talk to me.
Well, it was a fun game to watch. I mean, you got to give Montreal a lot of credit. Caden Gooley's really starting to pick up pace, which is fantastic news for the Montreal Canadiens. Obviously, the top line with Caulfield, Suzuki, and Slavkovsky overwhelmingly good. Like the pushback from Demidov tonight, I thought he was a lot better. Obviously, capping and getting a goal was huge for them with the deflection. The new hook speed is really apparent, which is very exciting. I like the fact Jake Evans scored into an empty net. I like the fact they out-face-offed Carolina. They were the better face-off team tonight, especially down the stretch with the goalie pulled for Carolina. It was a 2-goal spread, but Carolina's got what you were just talking about, some quick strike offense as well, and they were able, Montreal that is, to win those face-offs and not allow Carolina's quick strike offense to get engaged. To me, one of the big stories was timely goaltending. Dobes with some really big saves, whether it's breakaway on Stankoven or other opportunities that were in tight earlier in the game when it was 2-0. If he's not on top of it, there's a good chance Montreal's comeback doesn't even happen. So there's a lot to like about this team. I love what you were talking about with how opportunistic they are. They are. But I like the fact that Gooley's starting to play with a little vigor and vitality. I like the fact that Jaden Struble gets an assist on the captain and goal, and he's playing better defensively. I like the fact that Carrier's starting to get involved physically without taking penalties, which is a good thing. And I thought Dobson did some nice things tonight. And you know what's funny? Lane Hutson's not getting any points, and they're winning.
And there's also something else that I like about this game, Pierre, and it's also that Lane Hutson's not getting any points and they're winning, because that's always a good sign, because that means they're less reliant on that one player and they're starting to be more reliant on having a team effort. We're going to take a look at the ice time, Pierre, that was attributed to the defenseman tonight in particular. You're not having Matheson, Dobson, and Hudson play 26, 25, 24 anymore, and you're not having one defenseman play about 7 or 8, and you're not having another one play about 11 or 12. So the distribution of ice time, it's a lot better, Pierre. We know that it's a condensed schedule. We know that they're going to play a lot of games here down the stretch. We know that they're big games. We know that down the stretch, this is unofficially the playoffs, Pierre. The playoffs are around the corner. They're about 3.5 weeks away or whatever it is. You don't want to tire anyone out. And you need to rely on everyone to win, because if you're going to try and rely on 2-3 guys to win you the game in the playoffs, chances are it's not going to happen, Pierre. You know that. They know that. And this is good that this is happening at around this time of year, that they're starting to rely on everyone. This is good, Pierre.
Oh, it's very good. There's no question about it. And again, Dobes didn't have to do a lot. I know Carolina outshot Montreal pretty substantially. That's Carolina's game. They do that to everybody. And it's even worse when they play in their own building. They just fire, tee it high and let it fly, I think is their slogan. But no, you're right. It's a balanced attack now in Montreal. More and more guys contributing. I like the fact that Josh Anderson was back in the lineup. I think that's a positive thing, too, for Montreal. So, no, there's nothing to really quibble with. The fact they fell behind. Oh, yeah, the one thing, power play's got to be a little bit better, Tony. I don't like the fact that they don't get power play goals and not nearly enough chances, especially when you take that penalty late in the first period and then you get another power play opportunity with a 5-on-3 to start the second, and they don't really get much done. I know they get a little territorial advantage, but I'd like the power play to start kicking in a little bit.
We're going to talk about that power play in a second, Pierre, but I want to take you back to this morning, to the morning skate, okay? Eric Engels tweets out, and he says, starters routine for Jacob Fowler. Whoa, starters routine for Jacob Fowler? We're not shocked, but we're a little surprised. We expected Dobes to get the start. I can't speak for you, but at least I did. And then it's okay. No. All of a sudden, Renaud Lavoie reports, no, I think it's going to be Dobes in goal. You get to the coach's press conference. Marty St. Louis does not confirm his lineup for tonight. We do know that Joe Veleno, who was in for Josh Anderson over the last couple of games, Anderson was out with an upper body injury. Joe Veleno actually stayed and was skating when the others were not skating. Josh Anderson did not skate today. That gave you an indication that Veleno could possibly be out and Anderson could be in. But Marty St. Louis says, you know what? I'm not going to divulge my lineup tonight. Eric Engels says, you mind me asking why you're not? And Marty says, it's the playoffs. And in the playoffs, you don't show your cards. And I know it's not the playoffs, but it is the playoffs to us. And I'm not showing my cards. Now, I'm paraphrasing, Pierre, but I'd just like to get your thoughts on that.
Well, he's learned from some pretty good coaches. Tortorella used to be like that. Jacques Lemaire used to be like that. And I know that, a lot of guys, Guy Boucher in particular, used to talk to Jacques Lemaire a lot, and he coached down in Tampa, and he had some success down there. So he's been around some coaches that are like that. There's nothing wrong with that, as a matter of fact. I actually think that's good. I grew up with a guy that was very similar to that with Scotty, and he just didn't want to talk about who his goalie was. He didn't want to talk about what the lineup was until the game, because he didn't want people to have an opportunity to prepare to defend against you. So I don't really have a problem with that, and that's good that Marty's doing that, I think.
Now, look, there were many options, right? Anderson was probably going to come in, Veleno was going to go out, and it was going to be either Dobes or Fowler. Pierre, when they do advanced scoutings, the opposition, you prepare for both goaltenders, right? But if you don't show your card, once again, there's a little bit of an advantage.
Oh, yeah. There's a significant advantage. One of the things that's important for people to understand, most of the time they do the goalie debrief before the game. They have a meeting within, an hour to 45 minutes before the warm-up. And they talk about the goalie. Now, not every team's the same, but most teams do that. That's kind of standard operating procedure. It could change, though. Some teams like to do their meetings in the morning now. I think most teams are still doing them at night. So why would you give the team the advantage of knowing and having a full day to break down tape and get it assembled and put together? So, no, I don't have a problem with it. And I think it's great. It's smart.
You want reaction right after the game? Brian Wilde from Global TV Montreal has it for us. Let's hear Noah Dobson on what the Canadiens did after the first period. Do we have it? Okay, doesn't look like we have it yet. Brian sent it to me, but he didn't send it to Master Control yet. All right, okay. But we will hear from Noah Dobson. We will hear from Nick Suzuki. We will hear from Cole Caulfield. We're going to hear from all of them, and we're going to do that in just a couple of minutes. The Sick Podcast is brought to you in part by, of course, so many of our sponsors, starting with Energy Transportation Group, a leading asset-light 3PL that's driven to be different from cross-border freight between Canada, USA, and Mexico to coast-to-coast shipping in both Canada and the United States. Energy moves it all. They're fast, reliable, and powered by tech that delivers smarter logistics. If you need a real partner in transportation, contact the team at sick@shipenergy.com and see how Energy Transportation Group is changing the freight game. Also brought to you in part by the World Series of Poker Circuit returns to Playground from March 23rd to April 7 with a $2.5 million guaranteed main event in 2025. The WSOP Circuit main event at Playground shattered records, generating 1,978 entries and a $4.45 million prize pool, the largest in World Series of Poker Circuit history. It's the first of 4 massive WSOP events on the Playground schedule for 2026, and every one of them is a can't-miss event. Be a part of history. Visit playground.ca/sickpodcast or click the link in the YouTube description to spin a virtual wheel for a chance to win up to $100 in free play. Pierre, Josh Anderson back in the lineup. Tell me what you thought Anderson brought tonight and how the Canadiens are a different team when he's there.
He brought energy. He brings some physicality. He brings size. He brings some. I think the opposition's a little fearful of him because he's a bit squirrely. You don't know whether he's going to stick you, whether he's going to skate by you, whether he's going to fight you, whether he's going to pile drive a puck on goal. You just don't know. He's a highly unpredictable player, so I think that kind of makes people a little bit nervous when he's on the ice, and he can really skate. So I thought he brought a lot of energy to the party tonight, which is a good thing for Montreal.
All right, okay. Let's get to the starting lineup if we can. There you have it. For the Canadiens, it's Suzuki with Slafkovsky and Caulfield, Kapanen with Demidov and Newhook, Evans with Texier and Bolduc, Dano with Gallagher and Josh Anderson. On defense, Matheson, Dobson, Goalie, Carrier, Struble, Lane Hudson. Pierre, prior to tonight's game, in the last 12 games, Oliver Kapanen had 2 goals and 3 assists. The second line, nearly not as productive as they were probably in the first 50 games of the season or so. And a lot of us have been talking about maybe changing up the first line to try and balance the other lines. A lot of people call the Canadiens a one-line team, but if they are, Pierre, boy, is that one line very good. But they weren't a one-line team tonight because the Canadiens tonight got a goal from Demidov. The Canadiens tonight got a goal from Kapanen, and the Canadiens in the last couple of weeks got a couple of goals from Alex Newhook. But talk to me about the number one line, Pierre, why it has to remain intact, and when, and only when, should Marty St. Louis consider juggling with his lines?
Well, one of the reasons why going into a playoff situation is if they're going to start matching up on your top line, it's going to give a lot of the other lines more room to move. You see Demidov's getting easier matchups, Kapanen, Newhook. Newhook's speed opens up a lot through the neutral zone. I think you're going to start to see Bolduc get more involved offensively. And the only reason why is because now I'm seeing the physical component to his game, and that physicality is going to help him create more scoring opportunities because he'll force some turnovers, and I like that part of his game. So, no, but if you have a top line, you don't break it up. I'm sitting here in Pittsburgh right now, and I'm thinking about Kevin Stevens and Mark Recchi and Mario Lemieux. Like, when we had them together, who was stopping them? You know what I mean? And then when Recchi got traded away, we had Tocchet and Lemieux and Stevens. Who was stopping that line? So when you have a line like that, it makes the game easier for everybody else.
All right, okay. So let's talk about the Carolina Hurricanes lines now, Pierre.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring it up if we can. Aho with Jarvis and Svechnikov. Stankoven with Blake and Hall. Stahl with Martinuk and Ehlers. Jankowski with Robinson and Carrier. On defense, Slavin, Chatfield, Miller, Walker, Riley, Nikishin. Pierre, I take a look at those top 3 lines. They got balanced scoring.
They do, but Logan Stankoven's not a natural second-line center. That's going to be a problem for them in the playoffs. And Jankowski's a good player, but he's a fourth liner, and he's a fourth liner that's not going to get a lot of time in the playoffs. And the biggest thing to me is, I'm a huge Jalen Chatfield guy. You can ask Trip Tracy that does the games there. I've been telling him that Jalen Chatfield is one of the most improved players in the league, but he's not a top pairing defenseman. That's where they're going to have problems in the playoffs. They lost. People don't realize. Like I was at the game tonight in Pittsburgh, watching your game and watching the Penguins play live, and you know the big thing is seeing Brent Burns play in Colorado. That's weird. That's just a weird thing. I'm just telling you, Tony. He was really important in Carolina. You know, Brett Pesce plays for the New Jersey Devils. Brady Shea's playing for Nashville. Like, you can go down the line. They've lost a lot of internal components to their team. I know they've been very good this regular season. I don't know if they're going to be a very good playoff team. I just don't think they are.
Really, eh? So, you know what, Pierre? A lot of people in Montreal have been talking about, you know what? The Canadiens could end up playing the Tampa Bay Lightning if they finish third. The Canadiens could end up playing the Buffalo Sabres if they finish third in the Atlantic. Or if the Canadiens end up being a wild card team, there's a prospect, of course, of facing the Carolina Hurricanes.
Bring it on. That's the team I'd want to play.
Really, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Because of the reasons that you just gave, obviously.
Yeah, look at those are all good trust me, they're all good players. Stankoven wasn't a second center in Dallas. He can't be. I'm just telling you, he's not big enough. And he's a good player. He just doesn't fit in that role. Chatfield's a really good player. He doesn't fit in a top tandem defenseman position. They've just got issues with their lineup, and they know it. They know it internally. They just, for whatever reason, they can't really get anything done right now.
All right, okay. Why don't we, do we have the clips now live from the Bell Center? Do we have Noah Dobson on the adjustments the Canadiens made after the first period?
They're aggressive. They're on top of you. We didn't execute that well. We're playing slow. You got to play fast and try and get above them. But, you know, I thought we adjusted pretty well as the game went on, especially later in the first, and found a way.
No, you personally started skating pucks out. How key of an adjustment is that to get at least past the first layer?
Yeah, it's important. Like, they're man on man, so if you can beat your guy, that kind of puts everyone else in a difficult spot. So I thought when we started like having that confidence to hold on to pucks and make plays, if you just whack it around the wall all night, that's what they want. So it was a good adjustment by the guys that started making plays, and that's how you got to kind of beat their pressure when they're all out.
All right, okay. Now let's hear from Cole Caulfield. Also had a chance to speak, and so did Nick Suzuki, if we can. Caulfield, on what the game plan was tonight.
Hockey is going to happen, and you know what goes on in the first. You know, it's still 40 minutes to go after that. So I like the way that we battled back. You know, we found our game a little bit more at the end of the first, and then kind of found our way to take over through the rest of the game.
Noah Dobson was talking about the adjustments in the intermission that you guys talked about in terms of how to handle their forecheck and get above them and things like that.
Yeah, I think that was the game plan from the start. I just don't think we executed right away, and they're a team that gets on you early and throw a lot of pucks on net and get a lot of pucks deep. So I guess breaking the puck out we needed to be better at in execution like that. So thought we found our game in the second there and took over there.
All right, and Nick Suzuki talked about Ivan Demidov.
His edges and compete, really help him out in those situations, and he's probably been doing that his whole life, so it's nothing new, but it's great to see from a young player like him, and just growing as a player in this league, and I think sky's the limit for him, and it's exciting that he's with us.
Did you see anything different in his game? It looked like it clicked in the second period for him. He had a big shift, and then he was all over the place.
Yeah, I thought he kind of got better as the game went on. You could see him really hunting on the forecheck, winning puck battles. He's you can make plays, but he's working hard to get the puck back for his line.
Sorry if I'm having you.
All right, okay, there you have it. Pierre, you just heard the locker room reaction. What did your thoughts on what Caulfield, Dobson, and Suzuki had to say tonight?
Good. I like the fact they made an adjustment after the first period because he definitely had a problem breaking the puck out of their own zone. So that was smart. That's good. Proactive coaching is something that I like a lot. I like the fact that he acknowledged that Demidov's one of his greatest assets are his edges. He's so darn good in the corner with his edges, and his deception is so good. So that's a real positive thing. They're recognizing the characteristics of their own teammates and the strengths and weaknesses, which is really good. And I liked what Dobson talked about. You got to get above a team like Carolina. You got to push the pace back on them. And Those are players that when they say that kind of messaging, it's because they're getting it from their coaching staff and they're paying attention, which is a good thing, not a bad thing.
All right, okay. Brian Wilde will join us at some point live from the Bell Center. We await Brian, but once again, why don't we get to the scoring? If we can bring up the scoring to start the game. And there you have it. Nick Ehlers' 236 power play goal, assisted by Seth Jarvis and Svechnikov. We'll discuss this one, Pierre, but first period, Deneau wins a defensive zone faceoff. Puck goes back to Matheson. Carey is in pursuit. Anderson ties up his stick. Penalty for the Canadiens. Anderson, interference on Carrier. This is not a way to get back into the lineup. Carolina goes on the power play. Ehlers in the slot. Bang, bang play. Left toe saved by Dobes. He looks sharp early on, but he got beat early on because Ehlers shot pass towards Jarvis, who was on the doorstep behind Matheson, deflected off of Matheson's stick, Pierre. 1-0 Carolina. That's a bad break.
Yeah, it's just bad luck. I was just going to say it's an own goal. It's bad luck. I understand people are probably frustrated with Carey and he takes the penalties, but I thought after that he settled down. I kind of acknowledge that. I haven't liked a lot of his games because he has been reckless with his stick. He's taken a lot of high sticks. He hasn't played a real disciplined game. Some people say, well, there it goes again. He wasn't disciplined. But I think as the game went along, like the rest of the team, he got better. But that's a bad luck goal for Mike Matheson. It's a really bad luck goal for Dobes.
Hudson stripped of the puck at the blue line, Pierre. Pass from Stankoven to Hall on a breakaway. Saved by Dobes, who didn't bite and stayed with him the whole time. Pierre, when we talk about making saves when your team needs you to make a big save, that was early on in the hockey game. That's a huge stop here. And I know that ultimately Carolina goes up by a score of 2-0. I get it. But stopping a Hall on a breakaway, not biting, staying with him the whole time. Taylor Hall scored a lot of power play goals in this league, Pierre. A lot of breakaway goals in this league, I should say, Pierre.
He's done both, actually. He scored a lot of power play goals and a lot of breakaway goals. You're spot on with both of those statements. I think the biggest thing is that Dobes wants the job. He understands he's being pressured to keep the job. And he's trying to show that he is capable of doing the job. And when you make saves like that against Taylor Hall at that time of the game, that says a lot about you and your level of battle and how prepared you were for the game. So I love that save. We talked about it. You asked me what I liked. The timely goaltending was a big thing that I liked tonight by Dobes.
Talk to me about that comment. Dobes wants the job. I get that. I think everyone can see that. He's being pressured.
Yeah.
You're talking about, obviously, Jacob Fowler. How much are they pressuring him with Fowler? Because, of course, they gave Dobes last week. The Bruins at home. They gave him the game in Detroit. But when they came back on Saturday night, it's Fowler who played, and Fowler got the win on Saturday night for the Canadiens versus the New York Islanders. But tonight they're back at it with Dobes, Pierre. Talk to me about how much pressure you think they're putting on him.
Well, I don't think he's probably putting the pressure on himself. He knows how good Jacob Fowler is. And the fact that Jacob Fowler's in Montreal and he's not sitting in the stands, he's sitting on the bench or he's playing. If you're the other goalie, you know that's. I'll give you an example again. I'm in Pittsburgh. Tommy Barrasso wanted the job. He didn't want anybody touching his goal crease. Even if you were the backup goalie, don't touch my crease. Stay out of it. It's my crease. I've earned it. I'm keeping it. You're not touching it. And I'm not saying that Dobes is doing that, but he wants to stay. He wants that to be his job, and he knows how good Fowler is. Don't kid yourself. He knows how good Fowler is.
Pierre, in the first period, and I think Denny Gauthier did a real good job of showing it on RDS after the first period, but in the first period, the Canadiens were taking some poor decisions in the offensive zone with their puck management, which Marty St. Louis talks about gauging the risk. They weren't gauging the risk very well. And with one or two touches, Carolina was going back the other way. So I just talked to you, obviously, about Taylor Hall on the breakaway. It's a bad move by Lane Hudson to want to take on three guys at the offensive blue line. Bolduc tried to take on a couple of guys at the offensive blue line. It's a bad move there. Hall down the left side, quick wrister through a screen, short side, right toe save by Dobes. Chatfield shoots. Martinook knocks the stick out of Matheson's hands, Pierre. The puck goes back to Chatfield, who passes it to Stahl. Not so sure if it went off of Kapanen's stick, who passes it to Jordan Stahl all alone in front. Outweights Dobes and goes upstairs, top corner, glove side. Pierre, Matheson looks over at the referee and says, "That's a call." Referee says, "No, it's not." Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with this puck or the stick being knocked out of the player's hands. I'm seeing a lot of it. It depends on the city that you're in and the referee that's working. Honest to goodness, it's a little bit frightening because going into the playoffs, they better get that thing sorted out pretty quick because there are a lot of stick battles that happen in the playoffs.
Pierre, 8:45 in. The shots on goal are 10-1 Carolina. Why was Montreal having such a hard time, Pierre? The one thing that stood out to me was they were trying to carry it in, and Carolina was putting up a wall waiting for them. And on the one play where they actually put it in, put it behind the Carolina defense and used their speed, it was more effective.
Yeah, no, that's a great call by you. The other part, too, though, is Carolina's really legit on the forecheck, and you heard the players having a hard time breaking the puck out of their own zone, so they weren't clean. So that leads to a lot of opportunity, too. You're spending too much time in your own zone, or you're spending too much time battling to get the puck back in the neutral zone, and then they're quick countering on you, and then you get frustrated. You try to carry it in, you turn it over, and then you're in trouble. I said this so many times about Carolina. If you allow them to get the lead, a substantial lead, more times than not, you're not coming back against them. You're just not, Tony. Tonight, the Montreal Canadiens found a way to come back, and that there's something they can really learn from. That's an impressive win tonight against a very good Carolina team.
It is an impressive win, Pierre. And now we'll talk about when the Canadiens were effective. Demidov carries it and banks it off the boards before entering the offensive zone. Kapanen picks it up in the offensive zone. He circles the net to Newhook, touch pass to Demidov, who passes it back to the point to Jaden Struble, whose wrister from the left point is deflected by Kapanen. Chesfield couldn't get around him, couldn't impede him, couldn't lift his stick, couldn't get to him. It's 2-1. Pierre, that's a huge goal by Oliver Kapanen.
It's a huge goal by Kapanen. It's a heady play by Demidov, and it's a smart play by Struble just to get the puck and get it to the net. So it's a lot of things you want to see, especially against a team like Carolina that does play straight man-to-man. If you can find a way to get pucks to the net, you can outman them at the point of attack because of the man-to-man, because you can be quicker to the puck. You know where it's going. So I think that's a real positive for them in particular, and that's a big goal for Oliver Kapanen, obviously.
It is a big goal for Oliver Kapanen, Pierre. It was a big shift by that line. That line needed it, Pierre, because it's not only a goal that gave Kapanen confidence, it's a shift that gave the entire line confidence, Pierre.
It gave the team confidence. You're right. It did give the line confidence, but that was a real good shift. And the more time you spend in the offensive zone against Carolina, the better it is for you because you're not going to be able to get that high volume of shots that they like to accomplish.
All right, okay. So now we move on. Pierre, at 19:59 in period number 1, Carolina takes a penalty. Aho, interference on Caulfield. We go to period number 2. Penalty Carolina for Miller, Keandre Miller, for tripping Nick Suzuki. The Habs have a 5-on-3 power play, Pierre, which is less than 40 seconds. Marty St. Louis is the type of coach that likes to save his timeouts for the end of the game. He talks about TV timeouts a lot and says, I don't really need to take my timeouts. With a 5-on-3 power play, less than 40 about 40 second span, Pierre, give or take, and the Canadiens down 2-1 in the hockey game early on in the second period. Marty St. Louis chooses to call this timeout, Pierre. Didn't pay off. The Canadiens don't score on that power play, but did you like it?
I didn't mind it at all. As a matter of fact, that 5-on-3 power play gave the Canadiens a lot of momentum in the second period. They were able to establish something that maybe they weren't able to do earlier in the game, and that got Carolina on their heels rather than on their toes, especially in the period of the long change. So I actually thought it was a good play by Marty to make that call of a timeout and settle his guys down, try to make sure they understood what they needed to accomplish. They obviously didn't score, but not long after, Cole Caulfield did score, and that tied the game up, which was real positive for Montreal.
The best scoring chance, Pierre, that they had on that power play was Newhook in a slot pass to Kapanen on a one-time snap that actually misses the net. Now, you talked about Cole Caulfield, Pierre. Caulfield to Slafkovsky to Suzuki, who, Pierre, is back at the right point at this time because Noah Dobson had pinched. So Dobson goes in. Suzuki says, I'm going to cover for him. By the way, Suzuki had 2 covers tonight, Pierre, which probably went unnoticed. Not to you, I know. One time he covered Dobson at the point, which is the one I'm talking about. On another occasion, which actually led to the 3-2 goal, Pierre. Both times they scored. On the second, he covered for Mike Matheson. We're going to discuss it. Caulfield to to Slafkovsky to Suzuki, who's tapping with his stick on the ice to call for it, just inside the blue line. Suzuki shot, save. It's a juicy rebound by Freddie Anderson. Pierre goes straight to Cole Caulfield, who, right there, Johnny on the spot, and 2-2.
This is part of why I think Carolina would be a good team to play in the playoffs. You can't give up rebounds like that. That's a routine shot. I'm watching that, and I'm going, are you kidding me? I know he's trying to kick it to the corner, but he doesn't kick it to the corner. He kicks it to a high-scoring area against a guy that might win the Rocket Richard Trophy in Cole Caulfield. It's a terrible goaltending play. Not even going to try to cover it up for him.
Matheson, Pierre, engages back to the right point to Suzuki to Dobson. Shot towards Caulfield, who deflects it. He's not tied up by Svechnikov. Pierre makes a mistake there. You cannot leave Cole Caulfield and not tie him up. Caulfield deflects it, but after taking a look at the replay, Pierre, it goes off of Slafkovsky's knee, and Slafkovsky got in behind Aho. He was screening Freddie Anderson. It goes off of Slafkovsky. The goal is Slafkovsky's. The Canadiens take a 3-2 lead. Pierre, just like that, they're down 2-0, 2-1, obviously in period number 1. Second period, 2-2, and then 3-2, Caulfield and Slafkovsky. Who else, Pierre?
Well, the biggest thing to me is that the top two lines are doing the scoring. Kapanen, in the first period, and then Caulfield and Slafkovsky in the second. And the thing to me that blows me away is that Slafkovsky goal definitely was a double deflection. I didn't watch it with the volume up because I was at another game, but then I watched it after the period was over, and yeah, even the people who were doing the announcing that I was watching didn't even pick up that it went off Slafkovsky. But Al Michaels, the great announcer, would call that a double doink. And it was. I mean, it was a deflection, and then it's another deflection. It's to the back of the net, and your top players are going where they have to go to score, which is really good, too, for the Canadiens.
On that note, without further ado, and we're going to get to it, let's bring in Brian Wilde. And Brian Wilde is brought to you by Fruiterie Dollard. Fruiterie Dollard, a family-run business, a mainstay in the Lasalle community since 1995. Proud to continue offering the same fresh foods and flavors they have for the past 30 years. From fresh fruits and produce delivered daily to an ever-expanding assortment of deli meats, cheeses, and sandwiches, you'll find personalized service and friendly faces that make you feel like family at Fruiterie Dollard. Let's bring in Brian Wilde.
Brian Wilde, presented by Fruiterie Dollard. Fresh foods and flavors for over 30 years.
Brian, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Very, very well. Thank you very
Pierre,
much,
how are
Brian.
you?
Excellent, Brian. Thank you for asking.
Pierre, are you going to be in Albany?
No, I'm in Pittsburgh right now with some pretty good hockey players.
And yeah, that's right. Yeah, Friday, I'm going to go to Albany. The draw was perfect. Michael Hage, Michigan. That's the early game. Gavin McKenna, the bonus, the late game. 3.5 hour drive. I'm the man for that.
You're just a regular old scout now. That's good. That's really good.
Well, Brian, you know what? I'm looking forward to this scouting trip for you because I can't wait to hear what you can tell us, of course, right here on the Sick Podcast next week about Michael Hage and what you're going to see this weekend. So good for you. Talk to me about that locker room at the end of the game. It seems like they're even keel right now, despite these being high tense, high pressure games. What was the mood like? How did it feel?
Mostly about adjustments, just from the first period to the rest of the game, what they were trying to accomplish in the first period. Like Cole Caulfield, I talked to him about adjustments and what you guys try to do differently that Noah Dobson had just said. So, it's one of those moments where, you bring up Noah that he was talking about, you got to get it beyond that forecheck. You got to get it, above them were the two words that Noah Dobson used there. And Cole Caulfield said, yeah, but that was our plan from the get-go. We just didn't execute it because they found a way to make us look inadequate in our plan, but then we figured out how to do it. So it was mostly about adjustments. I mean, obviously there was a little bit about the goaltender. I mean, 42 saves out of 44 shots, a goal save above expected at 2.41. I thought that was the best game of his career, actually. And then some about Demidov, too. There was a lot of talk about Demidov maybe leveling up a little bit. Martin St. Louis talked about that. Somebody getting more comfortable, someone learning how to compete better, like sometimes a rookie gets into the league where he's got a lot of flash. He doesn't realize that he's got to compete as well. So Martin St. Louis was kind of making that point. And not a lot about the goalie, actually. The goalie didn't come out. He didn't talk, which is a little bit odd after such a great game.
Yeah. But he was named the first star of the game, and he did look at the crowd, and he said, "Ça va?"
Yeah, I heard that. I was just heading to the elevator and I heard it, and there was a giant roar when he said, I mean, credit to him, right? Like an understanding what community he plays in. I love that. There was one other pretty funny moment besides the Sava, where Juraj Slafkovsky was asked, hey, did you know that went off your knee on the way in? And he says, well, I had a little bit of an idea it did, but I didn't want to ruin the great celebration. Which was really funny.
Which was
so he just went over to Cole
celebration, obviously, right?
Which he didn't want to ruin Cole's celebration, so he's like, "Yeah, okay, we'll let you have that one for now."
But
so
you know
he's
what?
He's a funny man. He's so funny. You're right.
Here's a player who's also chasing a milestone. Slafkovsky wants to hit 30, obviously, right?
Yeah.
This, like Marty St. Louis, like he has himself a team. Like this is a team. Like there are other players. You know what? They are interested in that goal and they want that goal. And you know what? They're all pulling for each other. They want each other to hit all their milestones, but they're not losing sight of, you know what? We need to win games.
Can I talk to you for a second about the number one line?
Sure.
I crunched some numbers for my call of the Wild after the game because I wanted to know how excellent that they have been.
Please take more than a second, by the way. Take your time.
Why? You got to go to the bathroom?
No, we're not going anywhere. Brian, we already settled that whole bathroom thing, Brian. The diaper's on again,
no
Brian.
more bathroom.
Brian,
no more diaper. We're done with that.
No, the diaper's on, Brian. Don't worry about the bathroom.
Okay, sorry. Oh, why did I even inquire?
Yeah.
All right. So they've been together 10 games now, right? They have 21 goals in 10 games. 21 goals in 10 games. Anybody can do the quick math on that, prorated. That's obviously a small sample, but it's over 160 goals. Mm-hmm. The best line in the league this year has 96 in 69, prorated to 114. That's McKinnon's line with Nakash and our friend Arturi. So usually each year there are about 5 lines that are 100-goal lines. The last 100-goal line of the Montreal Canadiens was 1993. Danfus, Bellows, and Muller.
Correct.
That's 33 years waiting for a line as exciting as this one, and a line that can be a 100-goal line. Now, obviously, you can't just put the numbers together because they didn't play the entire season together. But if they do next year, there's the line to make us stop talking about 1993 and a 100-goal line, like we can now stop talking about Vincent Danfus in 1994 for 40 goals.
Bobby asked me that on Twitter. He says, Tony, they have a chance to be a 100-goal line. When's the last time they had one? And I immediately wrote back, Bellows, Muller, and Danfus.
Yeah.
He said, no, Tony, impossible, because Muller and Danfus were both centermen. And I said, Bobby, I'm pretty sure that in 1993, in the regular season, they formed the line because the other centermen on the Montreal Canadiens that year were Guy Carbonneau, Denis Savard, Paul DiPietro, and Stéphane Lebeau. Stéphane Lebeau was centering the second line that year, and I think he had a season of 31 goals or something like that.
Yeah, they were together the whole year, too. This isn't like a stat you're going to see in the record book, obviously. This is just my little pet project here. So, but I do think, even as my pet project, you can't just add up, 3 guys' totals for goals. They got to play together the whole time. But 21 and 10 just shows that if they got a chance to play a whole season together, I think they could even build on the chemistry and the magic that they show now, because the oldest one is 26. And I think the other 2 are, still getting better at hockey. And the oldest one might actually be getting better at hockey still, too, at 26.
You know what, guys? We have a question up on our YouTube, okay? And I want to ask you the question, and I'll tell you what the survey says right now. Guys, Jakub Dobes was excellent versus the Boston Bruins on Tuesday night of last week. I think we can all agree. It was no fault of his that they lost on Thursday in Detroit. You take a look at those 2 goals, nothing you can do there. He doesn't play on Saturday. Jacob Fowler does. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Fowler probably wishes he would have come out to cover the angle a little bit more on the first goal. The shot from the blue line that beat him on the third goal was probably one that he'd want to have back, considering that it was not deflected at all. And Dobes tonight, I think the 2 goals that he gives up, no fault of his own. And then you take a look at, he stops 41 of 43 tonight. I know that the season is not over, and I know that there's 12 games left. But has he really I think we thought he was in pole position maybe to be the starter in the playoffs. Has he distanced himself to the point where he definitely will be? Brian?
Martin St. Louis was actually asked not that exact question, but he was asked, how do you decide who's going to be your goaltender? And I think that's a great question because it never gets asked, but we talk about it all the time. And he says, well, it's part performance related, but it's also part fatigue related. So you can take that to the bank going forward that I think based on performance, Dobes is going to be the number one guy unless he believes that he needs a rest. And so if they're not playing back to back, I really feel like Martin St. Louis was answering, that's my guy.
Pierre?
I agree with Brian. I think Dobes will get the starts. Fowler's here a little early, and Dobes already put in time last year. Fowler's here because Montembeault's had a bad year, and there's no other way to say it. And so they got to make sure they got all their bases covered. They're getting Fowler a little bit of early seasoning, which is probably a little ahead of where they thought they would do it. But Dope just has proven that he can play at this point anyways. We'll see when the bright lights come on. They've still got some time left in the season, but playoff hockey's different. We all know it. Some guys rise to the occasion, some don't. I think this kid's going to have a chance to rise. I like what Brian said. He's funny. I think his teammates appreciate the fact that he's pretty civilized as a goalie. Most goalies are very eccentric. This kid's a lot of fun to be around.
Pierre, I want to take a look, and Brian, I want to take a look at the Habs schedule for the remainder of the season. Just sent it over. There you have it. There's the month of March, and there is the month of April. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's 12 games left. They have 1 at home and 3 on the road to finish off the month of March. And then they have 2 on the road to start the month of April, 4 straight at home, and then 2 on the road. Pierre, when Marty St. Louis sits down with Marco Marciano, the Canadiens goalie coach, are they mapping out what they think between now and the end of the season, or are they going by week?
No, I think they usually map out. That's what most teams are doing right now. They want to establish a work-to-rest ratio for the goalie, whomever they think is going to be the starter, and pick games where they say, okay, we're going to rest him here. This will get him enough rhythm to be ready for this game or that game or this series or that series. So they probably have a pretty good idea now of what they want to do the rest of the way.
Okay, so Jakub Dobes will have a rest of 1 game on the weekend of Saturday, Sunday, the 28-29, because they play back-to-back. The weekend after that, they play back-to-back in New Jersey and versus New Jersey. He's going to get 1 of those nights off. On the final weekend of the season, they play back-to-back versus Columbus and at New York versus the Islanders. He'll get 1 of those nights off. So with the with those remaining games that we just talked about, the 12 games, he'll have 3 off for sure. 3 off for sure. My question to you, Pierre, is let's say Dobes plays most of the games. Let's just say he plays 8 or 9. The lack of activity for Fowler, still beneficial to be here?
Oh, yeah.
And be with the NHL team and face NHL shooters, practice in and practice out?
Yeah, to get used to the travel, to get used to being in these cities, to get used to practicing in the different arenas that he's probably never been in before. So the answer is yes, it's all very valuable. And they'll work on the boards, they'll work on the glass in all these different areas. They'll do a lot of different things with him. So the answer is yeah, 100%. It's very beneficial. Would it be better if he was playing a lot? Yeah, it would be. But this is still giving him that training you have to have so you're not a neophyte when you go start in some of these buildings.
Brian?
Yeah, and it's yes for another reason. They want to make sure they get the 2 points and give themselves the best chance. And this is where I'd like to take just a second to talk about the courage of the organization, and especially a general manager allowing the coach to make decisions too, because sometimes pressure comes from above when, like, I committed that guy to a contract and this kind of makes me look bad if you don't use him. I mean, credit to Kent in terms of saying, play the goalie that's going to get us the wins. Forget my ego. We need wins. And that guy right now is really struggling. So if you don't want to use him, it's fine with me. So courage and communication and teamwork, top to bottom in the organization there, I think. Not great for Sam, obviously, but great for the organization to all be on the same page. When not being on the same page is very common in that moment.
Sam has been tremendous, by the way, and I don't go to the practices, but I mean, I get feedback from those who do go to the practices, and we see the images. I mean, a couple of days ago, he was used, Patrick Liney's taking shots, and Sam Montembeault's being used as a screen on shots for Jacob Fowler, and you've seen Montembeault go over to Jacob Fowler and Dobes, encouraging them, supporting them.
Dudes.
This is, being a teammate like this is going to go a long way. So, look, I don't think Montembeault is going to play another game for the Canadiens.
No. Ever?
I don't. No,
I don't either.
No, how can he?
Both of you. Wow.
How can he? Jacob Fowler is going to be here to start the season next year. I mean, let's just say the Canadiens want to rest they want to rest Dobes in the final 2 games of the season because they've secured a playoff spot.
Can I ask a question then?
They're going to play Fowler.
Okay, I agree with you this year, but don't you think at the start of next year, Montembeault gets a chance with a clean slate to see if he can become the guy that played 62 games, or is that written in the stone tablets already that no, he doesn't get a chance?
I think they're going to use him to try to make their team better.
Oh,
well, I mean, they're not going to get more than a 3rd round pick for the guy. Let's be honest.
You don't know that. You can't say that because
you're right.
You can't say that about goalies.
You can't say that. You don't know how he's
about
going to be
goalies.
packaged. He might be put in a big package to get something that they really need.
I hear you. And then at that point, you won't be able to equate what the value is. I get it.
What did Tristan Jarry go for?
Yeah,
Stuart Skinner
and
Kulak.
And Kulak. Yeah,
and now they got draft picks. I was just with Kyle Dubas tonight, by the way. They got draft picks and they got Sammy Girard.
Yeah, but guys, I mean, Brian, you asked.
I'm just saying he went for a lot.
Yeah, Brian, you asked the question. No, I mean, Jacob Fowler is going to be here to start the season next year, and so is Dobes. So they're not starting the season with 3 games again, with 3 goalies again.
No, they're not. But I mean, I just don't think. Oh, I don't know, guys. I think this gets it's not like he's 19. He's been a good goalie who struggled this year and just can't find his way. But he played 62 games. He played for Canada. He went to the Worlds. He played in the 4 nations.
Yeah, I'm not buying into that though.
You
don't think it's a clean slate in September to see if he can find his game?
I would bet the house.
All right, let's watch that one next year.
You know what? It's a great talking point. I can tell you that the chat is buzzing right now because we've been talking about it. I can tell you that.
Yeah. No one agrees with me, right?
I think you know what? I'm not gonna. We have.
When you're on the unpopular one, always.
Brian,
right?
we have 3,200.
Okay, so like 5
YouTube
people for sure
right now. So I can't read all the messages. But I have read a couple of sorry Brian's. So
there you go.
Probably not. And so I agree with the Wild man. There you have it, coming in from Patrick Water. So Patrick Water agrees with you. There you have it.
Well, we'll see. I know it's the unpopular opinion. I just think he's a veteran who's earned at least a clean slate. Now, I'm not saying I'm just saying that anybody that wants to say it's fait accompli, already written on the tablets, I think it's too much. I agree with the overall assessment for sure. I'm in the minority. I believe I should be in the minority. I don't even believe my own opinion, to be honest. But I just don't think it's completely written in the stars yet.
Okay, we will agree to disagree. This will make for another podcast. Brian, before we let you go, and by the way, I know that you go to the game, you take the Metro, and then, but sometimes you get home and you log on and you still listen to the end of the game.
No. I'm logged on the whole time. I listen to the whole show. I put the phone in my pocket I keep these on, and it even works in the Metro underground, you guys.
That's unbelievable.
You're unstoppable, you guys. You're unstoppable.
Well, I can tell you that by the chance you get home, who knows? Probably a chance that you can log back on and we can bring you back on. But in ending, Brian, once again, is there anything that Marty St. Louis said that really stood out to you tonight at the end of the game?
Not really. I mean, just the adjustments. I'll just go back to the adjustments. That they really felt like they turned the game around by understanding the concepts they were trying to bring to the game overall, and that it got delayed, but the message finally got there. Oh, there was one point about he can hear the chatter on the bench, knowing whether he needs to talk a lot or a little. And he felt like every bit of the chatter that he was hearing that the players were telling each other about what concepts they were trying to execute made him feel as if it was a night he could just sort of stand back and watch and enjoy, because he knew that they were trying their best to do the right thing, and it made coaching easy. So again, it's just one of those moments where, I don't know, you just really appreciate that there's a man out there that has a lot of confidence in other men that are committed to their aspect of the job, and that they themselves are committed to being the best that they can possibly be. And that allows him to just sit back and at some moments just enjoy the ride himself.
By the way,
I just
Brian,
find he's philosophically just a very interesting man to listen to.
Yeah, before we let you go, Brian, I could tell you that the Toronto Maple Leafs did the Montreal Canadiens a favor tonight and beat the Boston Bruins.
I saw that.
They beat
this
the
was
Bruins
a great night, right?
4-2. Yeah, and Ottawa, guys, this is something.
I know. I wrote
Ottawa
him off
Senators,
last week.
They played last night at MSG versus the Rangers. They destroyed them, right? They only won by a goal, but they outshot them 33-9, and they did it with 4 defensemen because they lost Thomas Chabot and they lost Lassie Thompson in the game last night. They
and
go
Sanderson,
to Detroit. Yeah, they already had lost Sanderson. They're actually down 5 regular defensemen.
Jensen's not there, too.
Jensen's not there. They're down 5 regulars. And
incredible.
They're in Detroit tonight, playing 2 games in 2 nights, travel included. They beat the Red Wings 3-2 in regulation.
They were up 3-0 in that game. What's amazing is Jorian Donovan played in that game, and Yakimchuk played in that game.
Yakimchuk played. Hey, that's his
got
debut.
He had a goal.
He scored. He scored. Yeah.
Oh wow! Wow,
yeah.
That's fantastic.
He was the first star of the game, guys. He was the first star of the game.
You're kidding me.
I know I'm
really?
not. Yeah, he was the first star of the game. Yeah.
Oh wow, good for him.
I'll tell you one thing right now. If they make the playoffs, which it looks like they're probably going to,
look out.
Travis Green better get some Coach of the Year votes. He's done an amazing job. And to Tony's point, like he really did hold the Rangers to 9 shots on goal last night. The only thing the Rangers did well last night, they crushed Ottawa in faceoffs. It was almost 2-1 in favor of Rangers over Ottawa. And I felt that if Detroit did that to them tonight, Detroit was going to pile drive Ottawa. Ottawa flipped the switch. They dominated faceoffs tonight. It's pretty amazing.
Guys,
how about the Islanders? How about the Islanders, Tony?
They lost.
They lost again, eh?
4-3 to Chicago.
If they miss the playoffs, does Patrick Roy survive it?
I think so.
All I know is this: he was supposed to be the first coach fired this year. He's still coaching.
Yeah. They're going in the wrong direction, though. Huh?
Are they?
Columbus won.
Are they a great team, guys? Guys, are they a great team?
Who, the Islanders?
Are they a very good team? Are they?
No. They're Matthew Schaefer.
Are they a slam dunk playoff team?
No.
So I don't think and I agree with you. I don't think Patrick Roy should lose his job if they don't.
No,
make the
I don't
playoffs.
think he will.
Yeah, and I don't think he should.
No.
But you know what? The Canadiens, once again, guys, they got some help tonight. There's some nights that are good for you, but Columbus, guys, they keep on winning. They beat the Philadelphia Flyers by a score of 3-2, and they're the Canadiens' next opponent on Thursday night.
You don't want to play them in the playoffs, Columbus. What, they got one loss since Bonus took over? 2? Something like that? It's crazy.
They're more than that, but they're unbelievable. They're unbelievable the way they've been playing. They've been
the story there is Jed Greaves.
Yes.
What a story, man.
Yes, absolutely.
And I know people don't watch Columbus. I know they don't. But I can tell you right now, if Zach Werenski's not one of the top 3 guys for the Norris Trophy, then people should not be allowed to vote on the award.
If they make the playoffs, I think he's going to win it, Pierre.
Tony
you know
Tampa.
what I'm saying, Tony? Like, I mean this sincerely. I know people don't watch Columbus. I know people don't watch San Jose. I know people don't watch Anaheim. I know, like, we all know that people don't watch those teams play. They don't. People don't watch Nashville play. But I'm telling you right now, this Zach Werenski, if he's not one of the top 3 guys for the Norris Trophy, then they should just stop letting those people vote.
Who are your 3, Pierre?
McCarr's got to be in there. I watched him tonight. He's good. If he hadn't have been hurt, I thought Sanderson would have been in there. I definitely have Werenski in there. And then I just got to – what's that?
And the third, that's the tough one, right?
I got to process that part of it still. Yeah.
It's Lane Hudson or Quinn Hughes, guys.
Well, it's going to be one of those two, but I got to process, like, it's hard. It's not that easy. There's a lot of moving parts there.
Yeah. You know what?
It'll probably be Quinn Hughes. He's got a ton of respect.
Will be, but I'm not ready to give up on Lane. Well, I said to Tony before, Brian, I know you want to get going, and I apologize.
No, it's good. It's good.
But you know what's amazing? Tony and I were talking.
I have another name, by the way.
Oh, what's your other name?
Not Bouchard.
Rasmus Dahlin.
Okay.
Dahlin's been great in Buffalo. He's absolutely right. Tony's right on that. But what we were talking about before, Brian, Lane Hudson hadn't scored in the last little while for Montreal, and they're still winning games. They're winning games without him scoring. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Brian. We'll talk to you soon, my man. We'll talk to you again on Thursday night.
Absolutely. Cheers, you guys.
Amazing as always. Thank you very much. Brian Wilde from Global TV Montreal. Pierre, the last time, right before Brian joined us, we were talking about, of course, Caulfield scoring to tie the game at 2, Slafkovsky scoring to put the Canadiens up by a score of 3-2. And there was a moment in the game, Pierre, in period number 2. There was great offensive zone pressure by the Canadiens for about 3 minutes. Shot by Hudson, stopped by Anderson, who stacked the pads. Slafkovsky found Suzuki in the slot, shot, glove save Anderson. Canadiens go on the power play, Pierre, 4-on-3. Dobson gives it away, a 2-on-1 for Carolina. Dobson slides a la Lane Hudson in overtime last week versus the Bruins. The shot goes wide. On to period number 3. Demidov with a move, breaks in, can't get a shot off, goes to Kapanen, goes right off his stick and wide. Evans finds Bolduc on the doorstep. His redirect is wide. Anderson going to the net. Chatfield all over him. Anderson tries to jam at 5-hole. There's a big save, Pierre, but by Anderson. The Canadiens, Pierre, had a ton of scoring chances, I thought, early on in period number 3.
And it all started because they gained the momentum from that 5-on-3 to start the second period.
Yes.
It's a big part of it. I'm telling you, they gained a huge amount of momentum from that, and they carried over to the third period. I love the fact that Demidov scored on the breakaway. It's like, he's Mr. Saturday night tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wasn't missing that one. As soon as I saw it, I go, he's not missing that. No way.
Aho had a one-timer, Pierre, by the right face-off circle. He missed the net, and he looked like he may have got Dobes off balance, but he missed the net. He tried to wire that one. Slafkovsky takes a penalty for delay of game. On that power play, Ehlers would have snapped a save by Dobes. No rebound. About 30 seconds later, Keandre Miller with a slap shot from the point. Save, no rebound. Ehlers by 3 players in the neutral zone, shifting here, there, and everywhere. Wrist shot, save, no rebound. Pierre, I thought Jakub Dobeš's rebound control as the game kept going on was getting stronger and stronger.
We agree, and that's what we talked about before. He had timely saves. He had great control of his rebounds, and the biggest thing is when Canadiens took those penalties and Carolina was pushing at the end of the game, he didn't look nervous. He looked unflappable in goal. He was a calm, cool, collected guy. He was anchored. He wasn't running around all over. There were a couple times where I wish his glove would have actually been on top of the puck, but they'll work on that with him probably. And I don't like him going for the empty net to try to score. Like, let's just get the game over with.
Yeah.
And fool around. But outside of that, I thought he was excellent. I really did. And your point about the rebounds is so spot on. It's perfect.
All right, so let's talk about it now. Puck goes over Keandre Miller's stick, Pierre. Demidov off to the races, Pierre. Breakaway, gets Anderson moving, goes backhand, back forehand, jams it into the open side that he has. That goal, 4-2, Pierre. At the time that goal went in, it was almost like, I know there was still plenty of time left in the game, Pierre, but it was almost like a nail in the coffin kind of goal at that point.
Oh, it was, and that's why I said as soon as I saw him on that breakaway, I knew he wasn't going to miss. I just knew because he had other chances where he shot the puck wide or he didn't get enough wood on it or whatever. But you knew he was going in there to bury that thing, and he buried it. I like the way you just described it because that's a very apt description. It's very good.
But there's a 3-way passing play by the Canadiens to Evans all alone, makes a move, puts it backhand, forehand, right-handed shot, goes off of Anderson's glove. Pierre, the puck goes the other way, probably 10, 15 seconds later. Stankoven, Pierre, on a breakaway, shoots, left pad saved by Dobes. Once again, Pierre, how many times have I said tonight that Jakob Dobes made a big save at a very important time of the hockey game. I mean, take a look at that one there. Even though I said it was a nail in the coffin goal by Demidov, if Stankoven scores on that breakaway, it's 4-3. They pull their goaltender, which they ended up pulling the goaltender anyway with just over 3 minutes to go in the hockey game, or about 3 minutes. And the puck comes loose, and Jake Evans shoots from about 150 feet away, Pierre. And he says, you know what? Tonight is Jake Evans' bobblehead night, and I want my goal on the bobblehead night. And the second I leave this arena, I want my bobblehead too. He got the goal. I'm sure he got the bobblehead, Pierre. I'm sure someone gave him one. But Dobes big, and like you said, it was cool to see Jake Evans on the ice, of course, empty net goal. He's a trusted player by Marty St. Louis, rightfully so.
It wasn't just that, Tony. It's the way they were taking faceoffs. You know, you got the righties with Suzuki and Evans. You got the lefty with the no. Like, you got a lot of good setups there, Tony, right now. Their faceoff play was really good tonight against a very good faceoff team more times than not. Stahl's really good. Jankowski's solid. Aho's very good. Stankoven's not as good. He's just not big enough. But their center ice play is pretty good on that team, and that's a big win for Montreal against that team, especially when you consider, Tony, they were down 2-0, and it wasn't looking good. The timely saves you've been alluding to all show long really kicked in for Montreal.
Pierre, Phil Deneau and Alex Newhook were on the ice with Jake Evans, as well as Caden Gooley and Alex Carrier for that empty net. So you just talked about the faceoff guys, Phil Deneau, left-handed shot, Jake Evans, right-handed shot. Yep. I also noticed, Pierre, that right before that, probably, that goal goes in at 19:02. Probably a minute before, Suzuki was on with an empty net, and so was Slavkovsky. Caulfield was not, Pierre. It's no slight at Caulfield, but obviously it's a huge vote of confidence to Juraj Slavkovsky.
Yeah, he's a big body that can be strong on the boards, and he's getting better and better all the time. Look, there's times Lane Hutson shouldn't be on in that situation either. Cole Caulfield shouldn't be on in that situation either. That's smart coaching. They're recognizing the strengths and weaknesses of their roster. That's a good thing, not a bad thing.
Does it have to do with, I understand you're talking about offensive players, but I also, it's got to do with having bigger players on the ice that are probably tougher to move and block more room and can block more shots and all that stuff.
Yeah, and win one-on-one battles and clear the crease and run guys over at the offensive blue line, whatever it takes. The big guys have an advantage over the small guys. That's just a reality of the whole thing.
Let's take a look, Pierre, at the event summary and take a look at some stats here. All right, okay. Brought it up. Nick Suzuki won 11 of 20 for 55%. Alex Newhook won 3 of 5 for 60%. Phil Deneau won 9 of 17 for 53%. Jake Evans, just under 50%. He won 7, but he lost 8, 47%. Oliver Kapanen only took 4 draws in this hockey game, and I've never seen this happen to him. He lost all 4. Josh Anderson took a draw and won it, and but yeah, Oliver Kapanen took 4 draws, but I guess one of the reasons why he took 4 is they decided to give Newhook 5 of them, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
And he's not going to get ice time at the end of the game, and that's when a lot of those faceoffs were going on because the Montreal Canadiens were icing the puck, just trying to get it out. So there were a lot of faceoffs in the last 3.5 minutes of that game.
Pierre, as you have said on multiple occasions, you and I don't rehearse anything when we go on.
Nope.
And you said Caden Gooley's really found this game.
Yep.
I don't know if you can see this, but the fourth one is Goalie found this game. All right. So those are some of the notes that I take. Habs outshot big time in the first and in the third. Comeback kids. Dobes statement game. Goalie found this game. Number one line, when you're hot, you're hot. Demidov was in one of those moods. Marty St. Louis talking about playoff time. 23 wins and 34 starts. Stopped 41 of 43. Those are just some bullet points that I write down. Pierre, Caden Goalie, let's bring up that event summary again. Look at that number, Pierre. Look at that hits number.
Yeah.
8.
Yeah, that's a big number.
I don't know if I've ever seen a Canadian this year. It's probably, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever seen a Hab this year with 8 hits in a hockey game, Pierre. He had 8, Pierre.
Yeah,
8.
Yeah. That's significant. I thought Bolduc had more than 2. I really did. I thought Bolduc's physically was a lot better than what I'd seen, which is a good thing for him. But 8 for Goalie is massive. That's
Pierre.
That's like 3 games in one.
Pierre, take a look at the time on ice. Mike Matheson at 21:44.
Yeah, this is all good though. These are manageable minutes.
Goalie had 20:30. Pierre.
Yeah, that's good.
You
That's
know,
what you
only
need.
a minute 14 from Alex Carey at 19:18. Only
That's what I was telling you
minutes.
before. He's starting to get it back. I didn't like the penalty in the first period, but after that, he was solid.
Dobson 20:50. Lane
Those are all
Hudson
good minutes.
18:54. That's, by the way, I don't think Lane Hudson's had less ice time than 18:54 this season. I think that's a season low, to tell you the truth.
Struble at 14 is good too, because
okay,
that 9 minutes, 10 minutes, 11 minutes. That's good for him.
Pierre, there's a trend here, and I want to bring it up. Last year, Arbor Jackeye played more games than Jaden Struble. Okay, so let me just bring it up. Struble last year played 56 games. Okay, he played 56 games. And Arbor Jackeye last year played 70. Okay. This year, Jaden Struble's played 47 games, Pierre.
Mm-hmm.
And Arbor Jackeye has played 55. But last year, down the stretch, Struble played the majority of the games. And when the playoffs started, he started and Jackeye did not. And Jackeye ended up coming in games 3, 4, and 5. Jaden Struble's played 4 straight hockey games, Pierre. What are you seeing from him?
More consistency, more comfort with Lane Hudson. You can see he defers to Lane in a good way, not a bad way. I think he's trying to be more physical without taking penalties, which is a good thing. So I just see consistency would probably be the number one thing I see in him. Much more of it, much more consistency.
Okay. Let's take a look at once again, I want to take a look at, for those who missed it, by the way, the scoring tonight. We talked about it. The Canadiens won. Boston lost. Ottawa won. Islanders lost. Columbus won. Tampa Bay won by a score of 6-3 over the Minnesota Wild. By the way, I don't know if you saw that. But Mike McCarron, did you see Mike McCarron on?
Yeah,
Corey
with
Perry?
the uppercuts on Corey Perry, I saw.
Oh, that was a pretty lethal uppercut.
Yeah,
pretty lethal.
Yeah.
All right, okay. I want to bring up now. With that said, Juliana or the Cavaleros, if you can bring up the standings, you bring up the standings, the updated standings, or if not, bring up the money puck, the chances of making the playoffs. All right, there you have the Canadiens. Pierre started the day at 81%. They go to bed tonight with a 90% chance of making the playoffs, Pierre.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, you could tell that they're a playoff team. It's just a matter of, are they going to be, a wild card team, or are they going to be one of the top 3 teams? I don't think they're going to be first in the Atlantic, but I do think they can be second or third, but probably closer to third. I don't think they'll slip into the wild card. I think they'll maintain their position.
The Detroit Red Wings have slipped to 46%.
They're in trouble. They're in big trouble.
The Islanders are at
a huge loss for Detroit tonight on home.
44% for the Islanders, Pierre.
Yeah, they're in trouble too.
The Columbus Blue Jackets, by the way, they're doing well. They have an 88% chance to make the playoffs.
Yep.
And they're going to visit the Canadiens on Thursday night. Let's get the hockeystats.com before we go. No, hockeystats.com. There you have it. Okay. Uri Slafkovsky, Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, Ivan Demidov, the most effective Montreal Canadiens forwards on the night, followed by Josh Anderson and Phil Deneau and Oliver Kapanen and Brendan Gallagher, Alex Newhook, Jake Evans, and the only players in the negative were Bolduc and Texier, who were, by the way, healthy scratches in the last couple of weeks or a couple of weeks ago. Jaden Struble was the most effective Montreal Canadiens defenseman tonight on the hockey stat card. Lane Hudson was second. Carey was third. Dobson fourth. Mike Matheson fifth. And Caden Gooley sixth.
Yeah,
So,
that's weird. That's weird.
That was weird for Goalie, yeah. Weird for Goalie.
That's an anomaly. I don't know how they judged that, but Goalie was a lot better than that.
I thought Goalie was a lot better than that too, Pierre. Okay. On that note, Pierre, thank you very much. Enjoy Pittsburgh once again. You're there for how long, Pierre?
I'm here till Friday.
All right.
Tony. This is someday I got to get you down here. You would love it. I'm just telling you. You broadcast from here. Mario is the most amazing person. It's just every day you're here, you're just like, I can't believe I worked with this guy. I won with this guy. He's just an amazing man. He really is.
I don't think I'd be able to podcast from there, Pierre, because I just look at Mario and I would be in awe. And I will tell you this, I wouldn't go autograph chasing or seeking. I would never put you in that position. I wouldn't even ask for a picture. I would never put you in that position. I would be very, very professional, but I would be in awe, and I don't think I would be able to spit out a word the entire time I would be there. I'll tell you that.
Well, tonight we were in his box, and I don't want to name drop too much, but Kevin Stevens, Mark Recchi, Pierre LaRouche, Jay Caulfield, Bernie Nichols, Mike Ruzioni. It was really special, and all we did was talk hockey. And they were watching their game. I was watching our game, Montreal. I was in the building so I could catch glimpses. Nathan McKinnon put on a show tonight, by the way. You talked about that top line from Colorado. Nathan McKinnon and Nate just in particular, those guys lit it up tonight. They were jumping tonight. They really were.
Pierre's really something. We got a hold of him. We said, Pierre, we got you covered. If you want, you could take the night off. We know you're in Pittsburgh. And he said, no. I'll be in the building. I'll be talking with the guys. I'm going to be watching the Canadiens game. I'll have it on. Then after, boom, I'm going up to my room. I'm watching the Canadiens game in solitaire. I'm taking all my notes. Don't worry about it. I got it all covered. And he did. And that's stuff that we pride ourselves on, of course. We watch all the games and we take all the notes. And thank you very much for that, Pierre. Now go back, enjoy the boys in Pittsburgh. And Mark Recchi's a cool dude. It's not this last time, but a couple of years ago, I was in Florida and I made my way into a cafe and I ordered an espresso. And who comes walking in? Mark Recchi, wearing shorts. And I got to tell you, those legs, we talk about Crosby, the tree trunks, right? And the legs and the calves and everything. My God, Mark Recchi he's like a brick wall. Mark Recchi, he's like a brick wall.
He was my training partner for 2 years here. We got after it pretty good, let me tell you.
Wow, he's something. Thank you, Pierre. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you again after the Canadiens and the Columbus Blue Jackets on Thursday night. There you have it, Pierre McGuire. I want to talk to you about some of our sponsors and, of course, Instacustoms, Montreal's highest-rated print shop with a 4.9-star Google rating, over 3,000 reviews. Order today, print it today, picked up or shipped today. Custom T-shirts, hoodies, hats, and more. Fast, professional, and done right. Visit instacustoms.com or stop by their downtown Montreal location tomorrow or sometime this week. Once again, the Canadiens and the Columbus Blue Jackets on Thursday night in Montreal. You want to get in on the action, go all the way with Betway. Get a deposit matchup bonus up to $300 on your first deposit. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account. Redeem your welcome offer. Offers only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. Offers not available in Ontario. Must be 18 years of age and older. And please play responsibly. If you like the podcast tonight, hit the like button, please. That goes a long way. Thank you very much. Also, if there's the hype button, if you see the hype button, hit the hype button. That'll give us a little bit of momentum here down the stretch. You can also leave us a 5-star review on Apple. It's our way of feeling the love. Jay Fresh Hockey says huge movement in the Eastern Conference playoff probability tonight. Detroit and the Islanders tumble below 50%. Boston down, but still in the top 8. Ottawa now on point pace. Columbus on track for home ice advantage in round 1. Montreal nearly a lock. Pittsburgh still in, but not much breathing room for them. Once again, the Canadiens' playoff chances, folks, are 92%. 92%. I'll take it. That's pretty good, huh? 92%. Why don't we take some questions? We'll get to some questions here. Shane Gaumont on Master Control. John Dacus. Does Cole become the first Hab to bring home the Richard? I think McKinnon will win it this year. I think Cole will hit 50. I think he will. I think he's going to hit 50, but I think McKinnon's going to get more than 50, and I think McKinnon's going to win it. I think that Cole Caulfield will win the Rocket Richard Trophy as the top goal scorer in the National Hockey League at some point. I'd love for him to be able to do it this year because, of course, as we know, nothing's guaranteed going forward. So there's an opportunity for him to win it this year, and I hope he does. You know what? I don't know if the Canadiens will rest him down the stretch, but I'd be willing to bet that the Avalanche are going to rest McKinnon. I might just change my mind on that one. I might just change my mind and tell you that Cole Caulfield's going to win it this year. The Avalanche will rest McKinnon. I don't know if the Canadiens are going to rest Caulfield. Next question. WMGTAW. Why is there a penalty kill? Is there a penalty kill? Why is their penalty kill worse than last year? Well, it's only normal because they lost some great penalty killers like Christian Dvorak, like Yoel Armia, and a shot blocker like a David Savard. And their goaltending was more consistent last year than it was this year because last year they had 2 goalies doing the job, and this year they only had 1, and the other one they've called up from the American Hockey League has done the job too, but Montembeault had more starts, of course, and Montembeault did not do the job. So you add it up, Montembeault's bad season, losing Dvorak, losing Armia, and a shot blocker like David Savard. Third question. Bobby Design. Is Hage coming this year or not? My money is on yes. Question number 4. The Rick Roller. Is Jack Guy no longer in the plans? Folks, I'd love to tell you that he is, but eventually younger guys come up and they take the place of some. Matheson signed long-term. Dobson signed long-term. Goalie signed long-term. Lane Hudson signed long-term. Reinbacher's chosen 5th overall. Jaden Strubles played 4 straight games down the stretch. He was the Canadiens guy down the stretch last year too, and he was the Canadiens guy to start the playoffs over Jack Guy. Adam Engstrom's in Laval. Pickford's an upcoming prospect. If I were a betting man, I would say that Jack Guy is not going to be in the long-term plans. You know what? He's a proud guy. He's a proud competitor. He works hard, and if he's not, he'll find his way somewhere else. He is a great teammate, and the guys love him. He's a real one. Arbor Jack Guy is a real one. But the Canadiens they're deep on D, and they got a lot of D coming. 5th and final question, I think. Michael Strasburg. What if you can trade Dobes Fowler for a very good young player? I'm not trading Dobes Fowler. I'm not. And then you know what? Dobes they're both rookies. And I think they're going to be able to push each other for a long time. And I think there's going to be a great competition going on between them for a while. And I've always said that I think it's a battle that eventually Fowler will win, but Jakub Dobes doesn't want to concede to him. Dobes is in the zone this year, guys. 23 wins and girls in 34 starts. He stopped 41 of 43 tonight. Tonight, he was feeling it. He was really, really good. He gave the Canadiens, he was the first star of the game. How else do you want me to put it? So I'm not trading them. No, I'm not. And, we had a good discussion with Brian. I think Samuel Montembeault will not play another game for the Montreal Canadiens. I say that respectfully. Brian believes that he will. Only time will tell. I think Dobes and Fowler are going to be quite the duo for quite some time. I think the ceiling is very high for both. I think the ceiling is very, very high for both. Folks, thanks for watching in such big numbers tonight. You were amazing, as you always are. We have a great relationship. I need you. I think you need me. I'm there for you. You're always there for me. You support. You do so on Monday to Friday at 10 o'clock in the morning with my show en français. Maybe some of you haven't watched yet. I'm hoping that you will continue to join as we're trying to make the sick community even sicker. And, we've decided to go immediately after every hockey game. Instead of waiting till 10 p.m., we go immediately after every hockey game. When there isn't a hockey game, we go at 10 p.m. and bring you the Sick Podcast. And we've decided to go even on weekends. And so we're here tonight. We'll be here on Thursday after they play the Columbus Blue Jackets. We'll be here on Saturday night after they play the Predators in Nashville. And we'll be here on Sunday night after they play the Hurricanes again in Carolina. I'll be here. And it's pretty comforting to know that you'll be here for me and for the Sick Podcast. For Brian Wilde from Global TV Montreal and Pierre McGuire from the Sick Podcast, The Eye Test, and my co-host right here on the Habs post-game show. And for all of our sponsors, thank you to Energy Transportation Group. Thank you to Playground. Thank you to the Geloso Beverage Group and Bittt Tibi. Thank you to Betway. Thank you to Insta Customs. Thank you to Fruiterie Dollard for bringing you Brian Wilde. And thank you to Restaurant Vago Italien for bringing you Pierre McGuire. For Juliana Cavallaro at Master Control, it's the Habs post-game. The line of Suzuki, Caulfield, and Slavkovsky does it again. They combined for 5 points. Cole scores. Uri scores. Demidov scores on a breakaway. Kapanen gets his 21st of the season. Jake Evans adds an empty netter on Jake Evans' bobblehead night. The Canadiens give up the first 2 of the hockey game. They come back with 5 straight, including the Evans empty netter. They win by a score of 5-2. Backstop by Jakob Dobes, stopping 41 of 43. He was your first star. You're my first star. It's a Sick Podcast. Thanks for watching. I'm Marinaro.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. LaBita.tb, embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.